Here, suspended in the turquoise embrace of the Caribbean Sea, lies an island nation that has, for decades, existed in a world of its own. It is a land of vibrant color and haunting melody of profound resilience and stark contradiction. Welcome to Life and Facts documentary. Today, we journey into the heart of this enigmatic archipelago to bring you Cuba Uncensored. More than you ever expected. We will venture beyond the familiar postcards and political rhetoric to uncover the intricate realities of life on this island. Prepare to discover a Cuba that is more complex, more surprising, and more fascinating than you ever expected. Pay close attention to the subtitles, as key terms will be highlighted in yellow for your convenience. This is a story not just of a place but of a people shaped by forces both natural and man-made. It is a chronicle of survival and adaptation where the past is not merely a memory, but a living, breathing presence in the everyday. From the bustling streets of its capital to the quiet rhythms of its rural landscapes, our exploration will be guided not by opinion, but by fact. Revelations that piece together a portrait of a nation. The 20 facts that follow will serve as our guideposts, illuminating a deeper understanding of this remarkable place. We invite you to join us on this immersive experience, to look and listen with fresh senses as we begin. Our first fact establishes the sheer physical presence of this nation. Cuba is, by a significant margin, the largest island in the Caribbean. Its immense scale sets it apart, a world unto itself. Spanning over 110,000 square kilometers, its coastline stretches for thousands of kilometers, fringed by coral reefs and dotted with more than 4,000 smaller islands and cays. This geographical dominance has shaped its history and strategic importance for centuries, a prize for empires and a crucible of cultures. This vast expanse is a tapestry of diverse and dramatic landscapes. In the west, the limestone mogotes of Vinales with flat fertile plains beneath, fields for the world's finest tobacco. To the east, the Sierra Maestra, cloaked in verdant forests, a sanctuary for unique wildlife and witness to revolutions. Between these extremes, sprawling wetlands, arid coasts and rolling hills, each shaping biodiversity and agriculture. The island's size has shaped human settlement and development. Over 1,200 kilometers from tip to tip, regional identities are strong. Distinct dialects, traditions and local economies, with major cities grown far from the capital. It harbors rich natural resources and sustains over 11 million people, with a fierce spirit of independence. The Caribbean's giant, more than geography. The context for every story here. A stage for a unique drama of human and natural history, dominant in size, character and influence across the region. We arrive now in the nation's capital, Havana, a city that seems to exist out of time. Astonishingly colorful architecture, Baroque facades beside elegant neoclassical columns, pastels fading under the Caribbean sun. These buildings are not relics, they are the backdrop of everyday life. With limited resources for new construction, the old has been kept, repaired and repurposed. A living museum of styles in beautiful decay. And moving through this gallery is a river of motion and color from another era. Gleaming Chevrolets, Fords and Buicks. Land yachts with polished chrome glinting in tropical light. A direct consequence of history. The US embargo halted imports in the early 1960s, freezing the fleet in time. Cuban mechanics became masters of invention, keeping vintage machines running for decades with custom parts and unwavering dedication. Static, colorful buildings and dynamic classic cars. A visual symphony, uniquely Havana's. A surreal dreamscape where the 18th century collides with the chrome-finned optimism of the 1950s. Not a curated theme park, but the organic result of a complex history, lived in, driven and painted on every wall. In the Cuban economy, a peculiar duality evolved, born from the economic crisis of the 1990s known as the Special Period. For decades, two currencies coexisted, creating a complex and often contradictory financial landscape that defined the nation's reality. On one hand, there was the Cuban peso, the cup. This was the currency of the state, the money used for official salaries, to buy subsidized goods from state-run markets, and to navigate the rhythms of daily domestic life for the vast majority of the population. But, alongside it circulated the convertible peso, the CUC. Created specifically to capture revenue from the burgeoning tourism industry, it was pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. This was the currency for hotels, upscale restaurants, and imported goods, a separate economic sphere operating in parallel. This created two worlds, two price systems, and a deep social divide. A doctor earning a state salary in CUP could make significantly less than a hotel worker with access to CUC. It was a visible rift that shaped survival strategies, placing immense value on any connection to the outside world. Then, in early 2021, the government launched the Tarea Ordenamiento, or ordering task. The CUC was retired in a bold seismic move to unify the currencies and simplify the economy. The goal was transparency, but the immediate result was chaos. Fact: post-unification, an informal currency market exploded, and inflation spiraled out of control. The cost of essentials climbed rapidly, with prices for food and medicine sometimes doubling or tripling overnight, decimating the value of state salaries and savings. Fact: the average official monthly salary has hovered around the equivalent of $30. But when converted at the informal street rate, that figure plummets, often to less than $15, a sum that can evaporate in a single trip to the market. Survival is built upon a unique social contract, which includes free healthcare, free education, and a ration book, or libreta, providing a monthly quota of basics like rice, beans, sugar, and oil. This provides a floor, but it's not enough. The rations often last only 10 to 15 days. To bridge the gap, people supplement their incomes through a growing private sector of cuentapropistas. Small businesses, tourism work, and especially remittances from family abroad have become essential lifelines, providing the foreign currency needed to buy goods in special stores that don't accept pesos. In this economy of scarcity, connection itself is a luxury. Internet access remains limited and costly for many, with public Wi-Fi hotspots in parks and plazas serving as the primary gateways to the digital world. Fact: access is typically bought with prepaid cards that grant a finite amount of time. An hour online can cost a substantial fraction of a day's wages, so every single minute is meticulously managed. Downloads are planned, messages are pre-written before connecting, and video calls with loved ones abroad are precious but short. Connectivity is treated as the valuable, finite resource it is. To circulate content offline, Cubans created an ingenious solution, el paquete semanal, or the weekly package. It's a terabyte of curated digital media, movies, music, apps, and news, distributed on hard drives across the island, forming a grassroots, offline internet. Mobile data is slowly expanding access, allowing for connectivity on the go, but its high price point keeps it unaffordable as a primary internet source for many. Fact: this drive for knowledge is deeply rooted. A 1961 literacy campaign staffed by volunteer teachers boosted the nation's literacy from around 77% to over 96% in a single year. Today, it stands above 99%. Fact: this commitment extends to free, universal healthcare and education. The system is renowned for its community-based care and state-funded studies that can take a student from primary school through to the doctoral level, all at no cost. But challenges persist. Chronic shortages of medicine and aging infrastructure exacerbated by decades of economic sanctions are a constant struggle. Yet, remarkable ingenuity keeps the system functioning against all odds. Daily life is an intricate dance of state support, modest salaries, private initiative, and costly connection. It is a constant exercise in resolver, the art of solving the unsolvable. This is the complex reality of survival economics in Cuba, a testament to the profound adaptability and resilience of its people. In Cuba, music is not just an art form, it's the island's very pulse. This unique musical heritage is a rhythm born of a powerful fusion of cultures, a conversation between continents. The Spanish guitar provides the intricate melodies and poetic verse, while African drums lay down an irresistible, complex rhythm. Add to this the echoes of the island's indigenous Taino people, and you have the foundational sound of Cuba. Fact: at the heart of this synthesis is son cubano. Its structure, Spanish verse, African rhythm, and a dynamic call and response section known as the montuno, became the bedrock for nearly all modern Cuban music. This living history isn't confined to concert halls. It spills from open doorways and fills town squares, an essential, inseparable part of daily life. From this single, potent source flowed the diverse styles that would conquer the world, the fiery energy of salsa, the sophisticated swagger of mambo, and the heart-wrenching passion of bolero. Cuba's story is also etched into its landscapes and cities, a legacy so significant it's recognized by 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Fact: among the most famous is Old Havana and its fortification system. Here, Centuries of history unfold in a breathtaking time capsule of Baroque cathedrals, grand plazas, and formidable fortresses that once guarded the gateway to the New World. Further south, Trinidad and the Valle de los Ingenios, the Valley of the Sugar Mills, tell a story of immense wealth built on the sugar trade, where elegant mansions stand in stark contrast to the silent ruins of the mills that powered the industry. In the west, the Vinales Valley presents a surreal panorama, where otherworldly limestone mogotes rise dramatically from the valley floor, a landscape where farmers still practice centuries-old methods of tobacco cultivation. Other sites include the historic center of Cienfuegos, with its distinct French neoclassical elegance, and the archaeological landscape of the first coffee plantations in the southeast, a testament to another transformative crop. Isolated for millennia, Cuba also evolved into a biological treasure chest, a Caribbean Galapagos of unique species. Nowhere is this more apparent than in its miniature marvels. Fact: the bee hummingbird, Mellisuga heleni, the world's smallest bird, is a shimmering jewel weighing less than a penny, its wings a blur, beating up to 80 times per second as it pollinates native flora. But this unique biodiversity is incredibly fragile. Other endemic species include the Mani Iberia eleuth, one of the smallest frogs on Earth, the vibrantly painted Polymeda snails, each a tiny work of art, and the formidable Cuban rock iguana. These species are threatened by habitat loss and climate change. Preserving their native habitats within Cuba's extensive network of protected areas is absolutely essential to their survival. Yet, perhaps no product is more synonymous with Cuba than its iconic cigar, a story that begins in the earth itself. Fact: the world's finest cigar tobacco grows exclusively in the rust-red soils of Vuelta Abajo in the Pinar del Rio province. This unique microclimate, a perfect alchemy of sun, humidity, and soil, is the secret to its unparalleled quality. The journey from seed to smoke is one of patience and tradition, performed almost entirely by hand. In the curing barns, or leaves are slowly fermented to develop complexity. Then, the final artistry belongs to the master roller. They expertly blend different types of leaf, filler, binder, and wrapper to craft perfectly balanced. The result is more than a product, it is a sensory experience. A Cuban puro's evolving flavors, notes of earth, leather, coffee, and spice, speak directly of its sun, its soil, and the generations of human skill that shaped it. It is an unbroken chain of knowledge passed down through generations. From the hands of the farmer to the hands of the roller, the cigar is a cultural legacy, a fragrant emblem of place, tradition, and masterful craft. For more than 60 years, an unrelenting pressure has shaped this island, not natural, but human-made. Commercial, economic, and financial sanctions, el bloqueo, isolating Cuba economically and politically. Consequences: classic cars as daily transport, persistent shortages of medicine, food, and materials, import costs driven up. It forged a culture of resolver, repurposing, inventing, adapting, resilience born of necessity. The Bay of Pigs, a tranquil bay turned stage for a fateful Cold War confrontation. About 1,400 Cuban exiles trained by the CIA aimed to land, spark an uprising, and reverse the revolution. But reefs damaged landings, air support faltered, and the brigade was pinned down, isolated and outnumbered. Within 3 days the invasion failed. Castro's power solidified, nationalism surged, and ties to the Soviet Union deepened. The embargo and the Bay of Pigs remain defining pressures, stark reminders of how geopolitics across a narrow stretch of water can shape a nation's destiny for decades. To understand Cuba, you must first listen. The main sound here is fast-paced musical Spanish, the official language that connects the island from the Malecon in Havana to the mountains of the Sierra Maestra. It's a dialect rich with its own unique cadence and slang, a vibrant rhythm that echoes the nation's own complex heartbeat. But listen closer, and you'll hear the island's deeper history speaking. Fact: in the east, you'll hear Haitian Creole, not just a living memory of migration but the daily language for communities descended from sugarcane workers who fled turmoil in their homeland. And in the spiritual spaces of Santeria, you'll hear Lukumi, a sacred Yoruba-rooted liturgical tongue. It's a direct linguistic and spiritual link to West Africa, preserved through centuries of resistance and faith, used in rituals to connect with the Orishas, the deities of their pantheon. These languages are more than just words. They are declarations of identity and survival. This survival is codified in the daily lives of Cubans, most famously through the Libreta de Abastecimiento, or ration book. Introduced in 1962, it was meant to guarantee fairness and sustenance for all. Today, it provides subsidized basics: rice, beans, sugar, oil, coffee, and a few others, a crucial safety net, but one that rarely lasts a full month. For many families, the rations are gone in just 2 weeks. What happens then? The daily hunt begins. Finding more is a testament to Cuban resilience, a complex dance of patience, savvy, and creativity. It means navigating state-run stores with often empty shelves, seeking out private farmers markets, and relying on networks of friends and neighbors. It's the art of, to solve, to make do, turning a handful of ingredients into a family meal, and making every single grain of rice count. But life here isn't only about the struggle. It's also about profound passion, and no passion runs deeper than baseball. Pelota, as it's called, is the heartbeat of the island, a unifying force that cuts across all generations and social lines. It arrived in the 19th century, a cultural import from the US that quickly became a symbol of national identity, distinct from the bullfighting favored by the Spanish colonizers. The Cuban style of play is a distinctive blend of power, speed, and strategy, a system that nurtures raw instinct and technical excellence. It's a brand of baseball that feels both disciplined and improvisational. This passion isn't confined to the stadiums, it spills out into the streets, to the famous esquinas calientes or hot corners, where fans debate plays, players, and politics with the fervor of seasoned managers. In a country with limited avenues for public debate, every pitch and catch is freighted with meaning. The baseball diamond becomes a national stage for heroes, a pressure valve for public emotion, and a joyous communal ritual that reaffirms who they are. Fact, where speech is sometimes constrained, Cuba's vibrant art scene speaks volumes. It flourishes where other avenues narrow, becoming one of the most powerful forms of social commentary. From explosive street murals that appear overnight to the hallowed museum halls, art is the island's uncensored diary. It explores themes of identity, isolation, bureaucracy, and hope, often through complex metaphors and surrealist imagery. In the Jimenitas neighborhood of Havana, Fusterlandia shows how a single artistic vision can physically reshape an entire community. Artist Jose Fuster has turned his home and the surrounding blocks into a whimsical mosaic kingdom, proving that art can be a shared public treasure, a source of local pride and economic activity. Internationally, Cuban art bridges worlds. Artists who exhibit abroad become cultural ambassadors, translating a paradoxical experience of simultaneous scarcity and abundance to audiences far beyond the island, challenging stereotypes and offering a more nuanced view of their home. This combination of ingenuity and expression defines the Cuban spirit. It's a spirit of profound strength and surprising warmth. It's the philosophy of to resolve, to invent, paired with a generous openness that often surprises visitors. It's the mechanic keeping a '57 Chevy running with Russian parts and sheer will. It's the neighbor sharing their coffee ration or the impromptu rumba that breaks out on a quiet street. In the face of decades of economic hardship and political isolation, an incredible social fabric has been forged. The true wealth of this nation isn't in its architecture or its exports, but in its resilience and human connection. The people themselves are Cuba's greatest, most complex, and most enduring masterpiece. And so our journey through this island of paradoxes, of struggle and song, of isolation and profound connection, comes to a close. Thank you for joining us at Life in Facts documentary. Cuba Uncensored, more than you ever expected, was our attempt to look beyond the postcards and political rhetoric to find the deeper truths that animate daily life on this extraordinary island. Our mission is to create real, factual content that offers depth, context, and a profound respect for the truth. If you believe in this kind of storytelling, please subscribe to Life in Facts documentary so you won't miss our next exploration into the fascinating complexities of our world. As always, key terms and important names are highlighted with our signature yellow subtitles. We believe this makes the learning process clearer, more engaging, and more impactful for our viewers. Cuba is a country that defies easy definition, a place that must be felt as much as it is seen. Until our next journey, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the incredible tapestry of life on our planet. We look forward to welcoming you back to Life in Facts documentary, the world as you've never seen it before.